Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's garden video. If anyone has been following me this season, you know that I have had such a hard time with onions. I usually do them by seed and I get them to germinate and I have a decent time. This year, for whatever reason, my seeds will not germinate. I've had a horrible time. So when I was at the store buying some emu food for our emu, I saw that onion set sitting there and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna impulse buy it and I'm gonna plant these and let's see if I can get these to grow and give me some onions this year. And so that's what I decided to do. By the end of the week, you'll see this at the end of the video, but they have started to emerge and sprout, so I'm super excited that I kind of impulse bought them because we eat a ton of onions in this house. And again, don't know why the seeds aren't working for me this year, but I'm excited that I bought that onion set. The next day was a lot of time in the greenhouse. I spent a ton of time. This is me starting some basil. To me, it's a summer crop out here in the Northwest, so we wait kind of later in the season to get it started. I got those started, and then I've said this before, and people think it's weird, but I tend to start almost everything that I put in the ground in seed trays, and this is corn. And people might think, oh my gosh, why are you doing corn in a seed tray? But I like to know, and I like to see that every corn kernel that I've planted, or every bean, or whatever it is, that it has germinated and that it's viable, and it's a viable plant before it goes in the ground, and then I can space it evenly and this and that. It doesn't make me wonder, like, oh, did it work, did it not work? You know, I want to see that it's germinated before it goes in the ground. And I also started some more cucumbers because some hadn't germinated. But this is kind of the status of what was going on in the greenhouse with a lot of my squash starting to just germinate out. And I planted, I don't know, 5 or 6 sometimes squash seeds per cell to get them germinated. And it's kind of funny because I've collected a bunch of pumpkins over the years. People have given them to me. They're all different varieties. There's large orange ones, there's gray ones, there's pimply ones. I mean, you name it. And I, every year, just kind of save some seeds from each one. I don't know if they're heirloom, I don't know if they're true to seed, but I don't really care because if it's just a pumpkin, I really just grow it, and if I get some, I put it on the front porch for decoration for Halloween, and then afterwards I feed it to our animals. But I do truly want to get and have a good harvest of zucchini and butternut squash, and those are also part of this array of these plants. But generally speaking, I just grow a lot of pumpkins, and I hope I get whatever I get, and I'm excited about it. And also, I don't have a ton of room in my garden. I mean, I have a huge garden, don't get me wrong, but squash, as anyone knows, takes up a ton of space. So what I end up doing with this, and I've been pretty successful, is I will plant a lot of these out on our septic mound where it's effectively full sun all day and it's free watering because it stays moist all the time. And I've had some pretty good luck getting some of these vines, and I just set it and forget it for the whole season and then come back in the fall, and then whatever's there I use for decoration, and then I feed to our animals when we're all done with that. I also decided to direct sow a few peas and a few spinach seeds just because I thought I'd try direct sowing some spinach. But yeah, so got those in the ground. And then once things are in these seedling trays, you can see, like, this is the next day, or maybe these are ones I planted last week, I'm not sure. They start to germinate, and this is all the bigger I let them get. I don't actually grow them into full-size plants. And this is funny, I was trying to film myself planting these and I just couldn't do it, sorry, so I had to abandon me trying to hold the phone and film at the same time. But here you see some corn in the ground. Again, I barely let them get very big and I put them in the ground. These are beans. You can just see that they're starting to emerge. They haven't even exposed their leaves yet, but I see that they're viable. I see that they've germinated, and for me, that's good. Let's get them in the ground. So I did plant beans and corn this week, and because beans and corn specifically, I don't like leaving the pods too long, and they kind of germinate sequentially day after day. As they germinated throughout the week, I did go out and put more in the ground, so you'll see me do that a couple more times this video. This is, I think, 2 days later, and I'm out where I'm going to be growing my corn this year, and some more corn had started to germinate, so I went out and put that in the ground as well, and I will slowly fill in this whole area. I think within a week or two this whole area will be filled in with all of my little starts, but like I said, I only put them out once I know that they have germinated and they're viable seeds. You saw me looking at the bottom of the seed tray there. I was looking to see if any of their tap roots had been sent down, because then I would also know there was a viable seedling in there. ready to come out, and I would have planted that, but I didn't see any there. And again, here you see me planting these bush beans. I planted some earlier in the week. I continue to plant them throughout the week as these beans start to emerge. One of the things that I spent time doing, this is, I've been seeing all these beans emerge and I've been putting them in the ground over the last couple days, but these pots actually had a bunch of my pole beans. I grow Scarlet Runner pole beans, and I just hadn't seen anything emerging, so I thought that was sort of weird because it had been plenty of time for them to develop and start emerging. So I scratched around the surface of that one to see if maybe something was right under the surface, and those are my 4 pots of it. And I think I had 4 or 5 beans per pot. And then I thought, let me just try to break apart the soil and see if anything's in there. And if stuff was there, I would save it. And as it turns out, as you see here, I start breaking things apart looking for any sort of seedling. And I saw a root. I got very excited, but I don't know, it was a weed or something. It wasn't actually a bean. So all of my Scarlet Runner beans had not germinated, and in fact, they had just not even done anything. I did find the remnant of 1 bean in there, but it was not healthy. So just crumpled up all this. And then I decided to start more since none had germinated. And so I did 2 pots of Scarlet Runners, and I actually started these are Kentucky pole beans as well. So these are my pole beans, and I'm hoping by next week they will have germinated, or a lot of them have, and I'll have them in the ground starting to get ready to train up the poles that I have set up for them. And here's a look at sort of what all my squash and pumpkins and everything looked like once I separated them out into separate containers, and a look at my tomatoes midweek of this last week. Something I've been dealing with a lot this year, which is interesting, it's kind of hard to see here, but on the right-hand side there's a hornet's nest starting, and I've been dealing with that quite a bit this year. Again, this is, I think, 2 days later, and there's some more corn emerging from the stuff I just planted earlier in the week, because we're towards the end of the week now, and some more beans. So I went ahead and planted the beans and the corn. And like I said, I think by the end of this week, I will have the full area of corn filled in, as well as the beans. I don't think I have many more bush beans to get in the ground. And now we're to today. Here's a look at my carrots. You can see a lot of them coming up out of the ground, which is nice, and my potatoes back there, which have all emerged. My strawberries are looking great. My new little patch there, lots of seeds ready to produce berries. Here's my cabbage, which is also doing really well, and my lettuce, which I'm just about ready to harvest, as well as my rhubarb in the background. Here you're looking at a combination of my cauliflower on the right, which is growing in nicely, and my peas on the left, and now here in the front is my broccoli, which is also producing a ton. This is my onions, and I said it earlier in the video, I planted them at the beginning of the week, and now a week later, they're hard to see, but there are some onions emerging there. These are corn, again, hard to see, they're very small, but they're there. These are my beans, also hard to see, and then my fava beans in the background, but they are emerging. In this scene, you get my raspberries on the left, my garlic in the middle, along with some peppers, which are struggling but holding on, and then some strawberries in the back, and in the background is no asparagus or anything yet back there. Those are my beets that I've wanted to go to seed, and I'm excited to see if I get a bunch of seeds from them. And then my second round of beets that I put in the ground are doing well, as well as some spinach in the background. And here's a look at the greenhouse. Those are my tomatoes that I'm letting grow up. Here's those squash that just grow so fast. So those are filling in nice. The beans that I just started haven't germinated yet, and then there's a look at some more. I looked this morning at a ton of the corn, like almost all the corn is starting to emerge, so those will all go out soon. My onions, the remaining onions that I had from seed, are not doing great. Some basil is starting to emerge, some cauliflower, and so yeah, I've got a lot happening in the greenhouse that'll get out this next week. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching this video.